Well, all right. We are back here from halftime, and it's time to move down the stretch here on this show. Once again, like and subscribe to the channel to get them notifications. We are in the home run championship rounds here. Now, let's move on to the NFL.
Yo, my bad. Listen, give me 1 second, man. My light.
All right, I got you. I got you. I'm Zay. We're going to start us off, and then when Cuzzo gets back in the fold, we'll pick up from there. So, which new quarterback wide receiver duo is poised to have the biggest breakout in 2023? Now, there's a lot of new duos across the board, okay? And some we have on the dock and some we don't. Now, whoever want to kick us off first, Cuzzo, you ready to kick us off? Which new quarterback wide receiver duo is poised to have the biggest breakout in 23?
Yes. I'm going Calvin Ripley with Trevor Lawrence. Calvin Ripley is one of the most dynamic young receivers that people ain't talking about because it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? Trevor Lawrence, he's one of the most dynamic young quarterbacks, but they also got a great head coach. And I think if they start building some chemistry, this is a dynamic duel that I'm looking forward to seeing. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars can put themselves on the biggest of stages, conference championship, Super Bowl. I don't know. You don't know. But at the end of the day, they're going to be dynamic. Okay. That's a scary duel. And clearly, I think Jacksonville is going to be one of the top teams in the NFL. But that's a scary duel. I'm looking forward to. Calvin Ripley is what, 6'4", right? 4.3 speed. You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence got a dynamic arm. He's super accurate. What are we really talking about? That's what he needs. An explosive receiver that can go down the field, over the middle, over the top, take the roof over the game, 50 yards, 40 yards, 30 yards. That's the dude. That's a dude he can rely on. That's the dude who can be the double team. And that's going to be a dynamic duel this coming NFL season.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go. You know, I look, I thought about everyone, right? And initially I was stuck, but then this duel became more and more eye-popping and glaring, and I had to go there. Now, before I get there, because I've been there, but before I get there, I do want to respond to Cuzzo. You know, I am on the Jaguars bandwagon, too, from a team perspective. I do think they will contend for a championship, okay? And I'm still trying to figure out how high do I want to go with them. Like, I know I'm going high, but is it the ultimate high, right? Is it like, yo, I'm going to pick this team to come out, right? Or is it, I'm going to stay conference and they're going to make some noise in the playoffs? I don't know yet. We'll get there when we need to get there. But I would say this about Calvin Ridley, who I do think is going to be a major upgrade to the receiving corps. I do think that his adjustment to playing football again is probably going to take half a season. He was suspended last year for the full year. Right. And then the year before that, I believe he didn't play the second half of the season because he took a mental health break. So essentially, you're talking about 1.5 years since playing the game of football. So I'm not sure if his impact is going to be immediate. Now, I do think his impact will become more consistent, especially as they move into the playoffs, barring that they get there. I think that's when he'll really break out. But still, that still qualifies, right? Because it's not only regular season breakout, it could be playoff breakout. It's just literally a breakout. Bro. So, it can mean a lot of things. But I guess the duo that I'm going to go with is Derek Carr and Chris Olave. I'm going to go with them. I think for me, this is easy because I'm going to break it down why. First of all, I think Chris Olave individually will have the biggest breakout of any receiver in the National Football League this year. He's a very smooth route runner, deep threat. We know that. I believe he was targeted a league high. No, excuse me, fourth in the league in 29 with 29 deep ball targets. And as we know about Derek Carr, he loves to air the rock. He threw the ball downfield, the fifth most, with 72 deep ball attempts. Let us not forget, Hunter Renfrow had a breakout a couple of seasons ago with Derek Carr. Darren Waller had a breakout with Derek Carr. I mean, Mac Hollins. Y'all forgot about Mac Hollins? The guy was projected to be a fourth-string depth chart receiver, and he had 57 catches for 690 yards and 4 touchdowns. He almost had 1,000 yards, and he was like the fourth receiver on this team because wide receiver 3 was injured. Adams still posted a 1,516-yard season despite Aaron Rodgers not throwing him the football. And I understand it didn't equate to success on the Raiders, but think about it. Derek Carr didn't really grasp the system, and he had a terrible year. They didn't make the playoffs, but yet his receivers put up numbers. So, when you go to the Saints, Chris Olave is clearly the number one option. He's clearly the best receiver on this team. No disrespect to Michael Thomas. I just got to see you again, right?
I
You
got
got
to
to
see you again.
you are. I believe that because of Derek Carr's ability and love for throwing the ball deep and going for them biscuit plays, and Chris Olave, that's where he specializes in. I think this question was easy for me. And I don't know how good the Saints are going to be as a team, as a collective, to put it in
Right.
perspective. But what I do know is Derek Carr and Chris Olave is going to break out. And that's my pick.
Both great options, both great, breakdowns. In terms of the Saints and Jaguars, I think both teams will have a very interesting duo offensively, and hopefully everyone stays healthy and we see a dynamic offense from both teams. I think it can actually happen. For me, I'm going unorthodox. I'm not going to go with the typical Jets team. I'm actually going with a team that has a lot of weapons. They're adding a new quarterback, and this is a quarterback that this coach has been chasing almost his entire career, and that's Sam Darnold and Deebo Samuel. This is Kyle Shanahan is a guy who idolized and wanted Sam Darnold from the beginning. He wanted to trade up to draft him before the Jets drafted him. He'd been looking at this kid and saying that he could work well in his offense. He could really maximize his potential and maximize his capabilities as a quarterback. He loves this guy, and he finally got him on the San Francisco 49ers while Brock Purdy is rehabbing an injury, and all the reports are saying that Sam Darnold is the number one quarterback. Number one depth chart on a depth chart. He's the number one for that team going into this regular season. I'm not saying that we're gonna see a 40 touchdown thrower in Sam Darnold, but we're getting the quarterback coach tandem that Kyle Shanahan has wanted damn near his entire career. This is the quarterback that he wanted to draft. This is the quarterback that he did a lot of research on, and he believes that he still can be that quarterback for this offense. And I think we will see a much more improved Sam Darnold with the confidence of his head coach, offensive guru, that we've ever seen in Sam Darnold in his entire career. I think we could possibly potentially see a 25, 30 touchdown thrower in Sam Darnold with a full season of play. Now, if he, has a bad season, gets hurt, whatever, Brock Purdy comes back in, we understand that. But I believe Kyle Shanahan is going to unlock a different game with the weapons that is on his 49ers offense with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold never played on an offense with this many weapons in his career. And he has a plethora of tools and weapons that's going to really take this team to another level and hopefully take Sam Darnold's game to another level. And I feel like they could have the potential biggest breakout of 2023 because A, NFC is not strong. B, their division is not as strong as it once was. And C, his coach, Kyle Shanahan, has believed in him for so long and has done the due diligence of research, not only in college, but in the NFL, at the NFL level, to bring him on and bring him in his offense. And I think and I believe that he will unlock another game. So Sam Darnold and Deebo Samuel may potentially have the biggest breakout in 2023.
All right, real quick, man. Let me address that. Then I'll come back to cousin. Sam Darnold, you made a good point at the end when you said, the division is a little weak and potential breakout. I get that. I don't see it. I'm not a big believer in Sam Darnold at all. And I know Kyle Shanahan's a great head coach, offensive mind. The Shanahans from his father, they're great offensive people. I get all of that. I don't see it. And no disrespect, I don't even think Sam Darnold, although they're saying he's number one on the depth chart, I don't see him being number one. He's no number one nowhere. I don't feel that at all. Now, like you said, Brock Purdy come back, Trey Lance, I don't know, you don't know, but I don't even see Sam Darnold playing over 10 games over there. So I just don't see that. Deebo Samuel is explosive, clear. Sam Darnold could be in a great system, clear, but no, I'm not going there. No disrespect, I'm not going there. But your cousin, you went somewhere with the New Orleans Saints and Carr. And the reason why I will still take Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley is exactly what you said. You said it. Because I got them going further. I got them being more explosive in the second half of the season. And to me, that's what makes them dynamic because it's about winning. We're talking about W's too, not just stats. And I believe this could be the guy that could put the Jacksonville Jaguars in the same boat up at Kansas City, up at Cincinnati, knocking one of them out of the conference finals, the AFC Championship game, and putting them in there. You see what I'm saying? Maybe Kansas City, for the first time, will make an AFC Championship game because Jacksonville knocks them out. Calvin Ridley going over the top. That's what I see, and that's why I call him the most breakout for this season coming up, because I think late in the season, playoff time, they might be making real noise.
Yeah, so I want to respond to both of that because I think for me, the reason why I went Derek Carr and Chris Olave is because I'm talking about. I think the connection is going to be there from week 1 all the way to
Clear.
week 17, and potentially in the playoffs. Like, who do we have a definitive NFC South team that we are buying hype into? Because I'm split. Like, I think that
Yeah,
division is the worst division in football. With all
right,
due
but Carr
respect,
just not a playoff quarterback.
no, he's not. But he only been there one time, and
Clear.
when we saw him there one time, I mean, he had to drive away. Like they were
Solid.
driving against not Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Right.
So
Solid.
I
It was
think he'll break out over there, and I think Chris Olave is going to break out. Derek Carr, I'm not sure if he's going to have a breakout. He will have his consistent 4,000 yards as he normally do, and they put up numbers. Like I said, I'm not factoring wins and losses here. More so just individual accolades and stats.
Gotcha.
But I think for me, the response is because I like the Sam Darnold prediction as far as success. I just don't like the pick here. And I'm going to explain everything further. Now, as far as the pick of him and Debo, Zay, I'm not sure if you got any intel or Kyle Shanahan texted you this morning saying that Sam Darnold is going to be the guy, right? Because if he did, then, hey, you need to be our reporter on the show and you beat Adam Schefter. Because I'm not sure if Sam Darnold is the quarterback 1. I'm not even sure if Bob Purdy's missing any games, right? I'm not sure if Trey Lance is not the guy. They got 3 quarterbacks there. Remember, Trey Lance, they traded up to get this cat. First round picks and all that. All right, so there's a lot invested in Trey Lance. Bob Purdy, obviously, we know what he did, and he led them to the NFC Championship game. And then Sam Darnold is probably arguably the best thrower of the football out of the group. So I'm not sure if we even know if he's going to be the guy. That's why I'm shocked at the risk that you took there. But on the flip side, if he was to be the guy, I think Sam Darnold could lead the 49ers to the NFC Championship game. I do. That was actually going to be one of my take for 99s. Not today, but from a future. I had that saved in my mind. I was probably going to say that. If he would have started, I would have put an asterisk. If he would have started, he could lead them to the NFC Championship game. It's almost like Geno Smith. Literally, I'm looking at Sam Darnold like Geno Smith. Geno Smith and Sam Darnold, to me, both of them, I watched both of them in college football. Both of them, I was like, yo, they're explosive. Geno Smith could throw the ball deep. He put up video game numbers at West Virginia.
Absolutely.
Sam Darnold put up video game numbers in USC. But we know what happened with Geno, who, by the way, played for the same team. Played for the same daggone team, the Jets. The Jets drafted both of them guys. Ironic. Okay, they were a dysfunctional franchise. No offensive line, no weapons or nothing like that. And their career sank. And once Geno Smith got his opportunity, linking up with Pete Carroll in the NFC West, now Sam Darnold going to the NFC West, linking up with Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I could expect the breakout. The talent is there. He could throw the football. He could throw the football better than Jimmy G. He could throw the ball better than Bob Purdy. Right? I can see it. The talent is there. He always had talent. But now he has an offensive guy. And last year, when he did get his job back, because he lost his job to Baker Mayfield, when he did get it back, he looked fairly decent. Like, it was only a small sample size, right? Because they was competing with Tampa Bay, but he looked decent. I'm like, all right, this is a broken down, building back up Sam Darnold that I'm watching right now. Now that you're building him back up piece by piece, Kyle Shanahan is the guy that you want to put the battery in his back to make him go. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that there.
Now, listen, don't get me wrong, Zay. If it works out, like if it's I like the pick because it is a big swing. Like, you went for a home run. Like, if that goes to fruition and that comes true, you'll win this debate easy, because who the heck is going to pick Sam Darnold? So I like the reach. I don't believe in it, but who am I? I could be wrong.
It's really, honestly, for me, it was just like, because there was so many reports, like even when Darnold first signed to the 49ers, they were saying the organization are huge fans of Sam Darnold. It's not like it's only a Kyle Shanahan thing. People love Sam Darnold's potential, and they saw the teams he was on before. They wanted him to be a superhero. They wanted him to be Superman and take bad organizations, bad offenses to another level. And that's not who Sam Darnold was capable of doing at the time. He really just hit rock bottom and never was able to climb back up. But with Kyle Shanahan, who's followed him almost his entire career, collegiate career, and sees what he's able to do and capable of doing, I could see it happening where he just has one of those Geno Smith type of seasons where it just shows up. A Jared Goff type of season where guys who we all looked at like, oh, these are not guys who take an offense and put them in another level. But now we could see them in a different light.
That wouldn't have been a bad take if we got that information. But like I said, Zay Schefter, right?
Zay Schefter.
Anyway, I do have a runner-up here, and if we want to give a runner-up before we move on, by all means, I do have a runner-up. I highly considered going DJ Moore and Justin Fields here, for a variety of reasons. I mean, let's look at everything from a perspective. Ryan Poles is trying to build around Justin Fields in year 3, and he giving him a number 1 receiver, sort of like Jalen Hurts when he got his number 1, and AJ Brown, sort of like Josh Allen when he got Stephon Diggs. And I think DJ Moore is a top 15 wide receiver, excellent route runner. He put up. Remember, he never had quarterback stability. Justin Fields never had wide receiver stability. So the match is perfect. DJ Moore, he put up 5,000 yard receiving years in 5 seasons. Okay, so 5,000 yards in 5 seasons with quarterback like Cam twice, right? Teddy B, right? Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, who we just talked about. And now Justin Fields is throwing to his first ever 1,000 yard wide receiver. So I think it's a match made in heaven. Yes, they're going to run the ball a lot, but he's the number 1 wide receiver, so he will get targeted the most. And that's the thing I like about, running offenses compared to spread you out, because spread you out, you're going to have your 1, 2, and 3 eating. They're going to eat. But when you run the ball, your number 1 is going to get the majority of the looks, if you really think about it. So I think he's going to have the majority of the looks, and he's going to be a number 1 wide receiver. I think the Bears are going to have a breakout year. I think Justin Fields individually and DJ Moore individually will have a breakout year, and that's why they were my runner-ups.
My runner-up, not to cut you off, my runner-up would have been the Jets, right? You got Aaron Rodgers going over there as a dynamic former MVP, dynamic thrower of the football, one of the greatest throwers of the football, the offensive rookie of the year. Clearly, he hadn't reached his potential. He ain't reached his prime yet. And I didn't really go into detail about it, but that's what I was looking at. I was looking at those two. But I'll be honest with you, the Jets is geared up. Another team is geared up to try to make a Super Bowl run, and they could really have a big time breakout. Yeah, what's the receiver name? I'm forgetting his name. Zay, what's your
Garrett
name?
Wilkins.
Yeah, Wilkins, right? So clearly, he could be on the verge of really having a breakout season. If you go look at wide receivers when they come out of college, if you go look at the second year, the leap is tremendous. So at the end of the day, he could be, 1,800 yards, second year receiver type dude with like 15 touchdowns, because you got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football, and we'd be calling him a number 1 receiver in the NFL by the end of next season. That's how dynamic they can be. And that was kind of like my run-up, because I was definitely looking towards the Aaron Rodgers. I'm definitely looking towards that.
That's why I looked at my Chris Olave, literally second year. That's why, that's how I looked at him. But go ahead, Zay. Any runner-ups for you?
I think, this is the year of Lamar Jackson, the thrower. I think Lamar Jackson OBJ. I think this is the best time with Tom Munkin as offensive coordinator, the offensive passing guru, apparently. The guy who could have been the head coach a couple years ago, but decided to go to college, win 2 national championships and come back. I think this is something that needs to happen. I think Lamar Jackson needs to show that he has different elements of his game. It's time to elevate after he got paid, not be elevated, not be motivated, not be determined to show that you are a quarterback in this NFL, not just a running back, not a runner, not a guy who just runs first. He's a thrower in the NFL. And I think with OBJ, with Tom Munkin, Lamar Jackson is ready to showcase his throwing talents. We saw he's able to connect with Mark Andrews. It's time to connect with the receivers. It's time to connect with Zay Flowers. OBJ. I think this is a year that OBJ shows he still could be a number 1 in this league, but also Lamar Jackson could be a top passer in the NFL. And I think for me, that's my runner-up. It should have been number 1, but I kind of fell in love with the allure of Darnold and Debo. That was my fault. That's what I
like it.
I mean, I looked there. I glanced there. I didn't go there. I glanced there, but the reason why I didn't even consider it a lot was because that would have mean me taking a flyer on health. And I'm not sure if I want to do that. Lamar Jackson, injury prone. Odell Beckham Jr., injury prone. I still have to see them be healthy first. And I just didn't want to take the flyer on health. But I do believe, and I would say, when healthy, I do think they can break out for sure. I think they'll probably be number 1 if they're able to stay healthy. They arguably, you could make the case for them number 1 if they stay healthy, but that's taking a flyer. I'm not risking it.
Right. I'm with you, cousin. It was the health aspect. I don't know how LBJ is going to be able to come back and bounce back from multiple knee surgeries, right? Clearly, we know he had that talent. He was dynamic. He was explosive. But every time you have a surgery, you losing a little something. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to come back as a great number one. Maybe as a number one, but not a great.
All right.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.